Welcome to the BMW X5 M50D.
Yes, that is its full actual name, but what is the BMW X5 M50D?
The X5 is a luxury SUV produced by the German manufacturer BMW. It was actually their first ever SUV, although BMW prefer to call it an SAV, or Sports Activity Vehicle, to put emphasis on its on-road handling capabilities as well as off-road. The X5 debuted in 1999 and is still being produced today. Granted, it's evolved a lot. Today we are focusing on the third generation X5, or the F chassis as is also known. The M50D part means this X5 comes equipped with a 3-litre 6-cylinder triple turbo diesel engine. Yes, this thing has 3 turbos. This means a power output of around 380 brake horsepower and 740 newton meters of torque. 0 to 60 miles an hour is dealt with in just 5.1 seconds. Yes, we will be testing this later. Onto the styling.
The BMW designers certainly got the memo to make their flagship model of their SUV. It's certainly got the muscular look that you'd expect. The statement of any big BMW is the grille, and I'm happy to say in this generation it is still very tolerable, and I'm usually against black grilles, but against the black I think it quite works. So, being the X50 M50D, all these numbers thrown at you, it is an M trim. That's why we've got these much more aggressive bumpers with the silver trims there. And another big statement of any modern BMW is their halo lights. So we've got everything you would expect, the halos, which look fantastic at night, and their bi-xenon funky LEDs that you would expect as well. The side profile of the car, well, it's huge. But they use the space well. It doesn't look too in-your-face big, and what does help are these massive 20-inch wheels, and what we couldn't believe is the 315 section tyres on the rear on a family SUV. The silver trims are carried onto the side. They seem to be copying Audi with this, because we've noticed on a couple of the Audi S models it's a silver thing. Apparently BMW are doing the same. But the muscular stance is brought all the way to the rear with the massive wheel arches, and the rear, the sportiness continues with the dual exit exhaust. SUVs are not usually my cup of tea. Sorry, I only let a fly at my face then. SUVs are not usually my thing, but they've done a really good job of styling this thing. Again, not too in your face. The cardboard cutout here is my bad. That's not a factory option. I forgot to bring the number plates around, so we'll ignore that for now.
The electronically controlled boot lid houses a luggage capacity of 650 litres with the rear seats in place. This jumps to 1,870 litres with the rear seats folded down. Speaking of the rear seats, the X5 comes standard with 5 seats but can be fitted with an extra 2 seats in the boot as an optional extra. With the 7-seat option, passengers are graced with not only cup holders but their very own air vents too. Third row space is adequate? To test this, we obviously had to squeeze Kenny back there, not me this time.
There's a reason I usually test these. Yeah.
The operation of the folding seats is very simple in fairness, and if you fold the middle row down, well, you can see how much room you get. The X5 also has a split tailgate just like a Range Rover, which also comes in very handy.
Stepping into the interior of the BMW X5 M50D, you are greeted with these absolutely stunning and very, very comfortable and supportive leather seats. I know they've got so much adjustment on these. As for the interior, I know a lot of people do complain about BMWs being quite bland, but everything works, everything looks good, it looks expensive and exclusive. Also with this model, we do have the pan roof, which is so open and airy in here, and being so high, it does feel very, very nice and spacious. Now sitting in the rear of the BMW, I'm surprised how much legroom I've got. Now I'm quite a big dude, loads and loads of room, and once again, these seats are so comfortable. There's plenty of storage. I do like these like airplane style pockets. They're really nice. You've got large cup holders and storage in the rear, and once again, you've got the pan roof, which helps. Yes. Look at that.
I didn't know what that was.
That's cool, isn't it? Now, so you also got more storage, which is a little tiny tray here, which once again is great, and your cup holders. So yeah, to sit in the back, I would love to be chauffeured around this thing. Drew, yeah, let's see.
There's always a debate online with the conversation of SUVs, SUV or estate car, and as a rule, I tend to go estate cars. But one thing that SUVs give you that estate cars can't is the seating position, and that's one of the first things you notice when you jump in any of them, particularly in this, the X5. I was really impressed.
It's just, you can see absolutely everything, can't you?
Yeah.
Obviously, I've got a 520 diesel estate.
Yes.
So first thing, when I jumped in here, I really thought I would like one of these.
Yeah, I get why why the SUV craze has just taken over the world.
Yeah.
One of the things straight away I noticed when I set off was I cannot judge, or I'm struggling to judge just how big this thing is, as in how wide it is. We were down a bit of a lane, and I don't want to be curbing 20-inch wheels.
No, yeah, you would drive more in the middle of the road then, don't you?
Yeah, but the good thing is you're in something that big, people will move out of your way anyway. I don't encourage that type of behaviour. But as soon as you set off, the 8-speed ZF box, we've said it, we've driven a couple of cars with the ZF 8-speed. I've always said I preferred it to a DSG. I think it's a bit more refined. You lose maybe 0.2 of a second in the gear shifts. That's not something I care about, particularly in a car that you're going to be driving every day. And one thing I always say, when you're buying something like this, because I was saying to Kenny, with the performance figures, the economy, why would you bother with the 4.4 V8 twin turbo, whatever it is?
Yeah, you're right. I know you do get better economy with these. Now, I was speaking to the owners of the car, Nicola and Peter. Massive thanks for letting us have it today.
Huge thank you. Yeah.
They quote online about 42 miles to the gallon combined. He said more realistically it's like 29.
Oh, so it's still a bit thirsty then.
I know he did say Nicola doesn't hang around in your mind. So he said, you know, she probably averages low 20s.
Yeah, okay, I was expecting to be better than that.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing is how I almost didn't want to like this thing. But my God, I said that gearbox paired with that engine. I'm a massive fan of BMW straight six diesels, and this is no exception. You jump in, I mean, it just does everything you want it to. If you just want to jump in and drive, this is the setup that you'd want for a daily driver.
Yep.
And yes, okay, you feel the weight immediately as you would with any SUV. We're talking 2.2, I think it's a smidgen over 2.2 tons. And but I've said you don't buy these things. You buy these things as long as it's quick in a straight line and as long as it's comfy. Who is buying one of these to throw around corners?
Well, this is like you said earlier. It's basically you know, to set off the line, to get off, get away, to pull out. It's got everything.
But in saying that, I mean, going around corners now, you know it's a BMW because you've got confidence in the steering. Like it's a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But I'm sure someone said if you put it into sport mode, it does. Wow, yeah, it does. It weightens up the steering, and then it feels like a BMW should. But I am impressed that again, after a long day in work or whatever, if you're doing a long trip and you want light steering, you've got that option in this. So I'm cruising at 70 mile an hour, the UK national speed limit. I am sat at 1600 RPM. So I imagine on a run, you'd probably get a little bit more than the high 20s. And it soaks up, we're on 20-inch wheels. It has got nice big chunky tyres. It's soaking up the bumps, so nice. We've got the panoramic roof open, which is a beautiful option. Whoa, a Corvette just went past it, sorry.
Oh, I thought you were pointing at the Laguna, Paul McGann, sorry.
I mean, whoa, how many of them are left on the road?
Wow.
It soaks up the bumps really well, and like I said, you forget that you're in this massive 2.2 ton thing. Do you know, for road trips and towing, I should add, the towing capacity on these is 3.5 ton.
Wow.
You could tow about 3 MX-5s with this thing, which is something I've been looking into lately. So for a tow car, imagine towing a car to the ring, this is the type of setup you want.
Definitely.
What I am going to do is go all BMW. Let's say you're on the motorway, some peasant is in front of you. I'm in comfort mode. Let's just see what happens when I knew you just ride a wave of torque. I mean, for a diesel, holy cow. The performance is definitely there, which I hate to say because I hate how quick modern diesels are. Granted, it'd be at lower RPM, but you used to get the old school diesel, turbo diesel was nothing punch. With the 3 turbos that are on this thing, that's 3. You can see where the technology's gone, and they've obviously designed it to just be a smooth drive. And as I said, this is what BMW, we both agree, they know how to make a car drive nice. Alright, so we're in Sport Plus, and I am just going to see what a sort of launch is like. Wow. Torque much? That is incredible. It hides its weight in the acceleration. I've got to be fair. It hides its weight really well. It's just smooth, and that is exactly what you want from an SUV. This is not a sports car. I don't want to be smashing through the gears.
You're right, you just want that power when you want it.
Yeah, and like I said, touch the throttle, even off the line, there is absolute zero drama, which, like I said, you've got to know what you want from each car. If I'm driving this, if I'm buying this, that's exactly what I want.
I want to buy one.
So do I. Like Kenny said in the last one, we need more subscribers so we can buy cool things like this.
We can have this to tow all your, I was going to say 4 MX5, it'd be 6 of yours because there's not much sills or anything.
Yeah,
there we
probably
go.
400 kilos.
Please guys, we need one. This is the fun part that we always look forward to. We've just busted the draggy out, so it's time to do a 0 to 60. Now, it's claimed to be 5.1 seconds in perfect conditions, so we'll just see what this can actually do. So, launch control, into Sport Plus mode, traction control off, over into manual mode, hard press on the brake and on the throttle. Flags come on, and away we go! This thing really picks up quick.
The X5 managed a verified 0 to 60 time of 6.05 seconds in the real world. Pretty quick for 2.2 tons.
So we just found a couple of little twisty roads, nice little B road. I'm going to give it a little bit through here. I'm not going to turn the traction control off though. Because this
Not that brave.
No, this is quite a tight bit of cornering as well. Oh, it's that, like you said, the mid-range power on this and the steering is super light. Oh. It doesn't feel as heavy like you were saying. I was expecting then to be a lot heavier through that being such a big car, and it took it really well.
Yeah, because I was in the corners. Granted, I was going through slower corners. It did feel heavy, and it didn't give me the confidence to throw it in.
No,
but BMW steering always gives me confidence.
As you can see here now, yeah, we got a little bit of slip on the front. Yeah, but not too bad. It's definitely trying to go. But like I said, that pickup,
the muscle that pulls you out of the roundabouts is what's impressive.
That's the good word actually. It feels really like a muscle performance side of things. But I just quite happy to pop this back into comfort mode and just cruise along. It's I just don't know what to say. I've done a bit lost for words, I'll be honest, because like you said, I was sort of going into it thinking, meh, it's an X5. Driven X5s, my dad used to own an older one.
Yeah.
But I really do like this thing. Everything about it, the touch points. I know people really don't like the indicator stalks on the BMWs.
I hate the one touch. It's got that stupid one touch indicator thing.
Yeah.
But again, nitpicking, that would drive me nuts, but not enough to put me off the car.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to check the microphones on.
Pricing is always a big topic when it comes to vehicles like this. Now I'm really out of touch with how much things cost, but I look at something like this and I was expecting it still to be about 30-35 grand's worth.
Yeah.
At the time of filming, I went onto Auto Trader, filtered by cheapest first. In this generation, the X50, I've forgotten it already.
X5 M50D.
That one, I found one, the cheapest I could find was $14,999. To me, if my next door neighbour pulled up in this, I would be thinking, oh yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah, you'd think that's 30 plus.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And just the options on this, obviously the price varies a lot with the options and things like that. One of my favourite options that I knew I'd liked, but with such a dark interior, everything on this car is black, so playing is safe, which is beautiful, but that panoramic roof, especially on a day like today, really opens up the cabin a lot.
Yes.
And the only thing is the wind noise, but then it's just like any sunroof. If you don't like the wind noise, you can close it and you still get the light coming through.
Yep.
People have said about the negatives of the sound of the engine, I've heard people say.
Yeah.
Now, I would normally agree and say diesels sound terrible as a general. There's no way around it.
No,
but
yeah.
But BMW Straight 6 has got to be one of the nicest sounding and it's, I don't know if you can say refined and diesel in the same sentence, but as far as diesels go, it sounds refined. It sounds
refined, and also when you're on it, it does sound quite muscly. It has got quite a good grumble to it. I just want to point out as well, obviously you get everything you'd expect in the interior with your automatic lights, automatic wipers, blah blah blah, everything's there as you'd expect.
And this generation of BMW, we've said it before, we've got a weird thing with steering wheels. I think I will stand by it and say that's probably the best steering wheel BMW have ever created, and dare I say, that's probably my favourite factory steering wheel that we've come across. The feel, how it feels, how it looks. I think they've nailed it.
As I say, you can definitely feel the front end slipping because of the weight of the car, but it is more rear biased, So you have got more power going to the rear wheels.
I like that. That's how you know BMW, the performance side of things. They still get involved, even in their normal sort of SUVs, they definitely get involved.
Yep, and as soon as you put it into Sport Plus,
Yeah.
it turns the traction control off.
Yeah.
So you don't even have to mess around with that. You know you're going to go sideways.
I just love that they've got a comfort and a sport mode in one of these. Like, do you know, even as a passenger, I don't know if it's because I own a lot of small, lightweight cars. I'm so used to throwing stuff in a corner and getting that razor sharp response. But even as a passenger, I'm like, crikey, this thing feels heavy.
It really does. You can feel the weight, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so onto the negatives, as I was going to say.
Yeah.
Because it's not perfect, and this, my first one is down to personal preference. Like we said, comparing your estate is a good example, because there's always that argument of estate SUV. 90% of people buy SUVs just because they look better. I personally would go with the estate because, like I said, I'm used to more nimble feeling car. It just feels a lot more small, and like I said, judging the size, I know it would come after time, you'd get used to it.
Yeah, you would. You also, obviously, with the SUV, you do feel a height with the body roll. Now, this does feel quite flat through the corners, but you still got that lean. You can definitely feel the weight is higher.
You can't defy grid. There's only a certain amount that we can do, science can do for physics. You can't fight physics.
That's right.
So like you said, with the height of it, you're always going to get that wallowy feel. Running costs is another one. Now, don't get me wrong, you buy a BMW, you're going to have to fork out, we know that. But again, I'm going to go back to comparing it to yours or any 5 Series estate.
Yeah.
Wheels and tyre. The tyres on this thing, 315s. I would not want to be replacing those. And even if you've got the M Sport with 18s, 18-inch tyres are not extortionate amounts of money.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I don't run performance tyres on that. I can get a pair of tyres, and they're fine. They don't aquaplane or nothing. I never usually go cheap tyres, but I can spend £100 on get a pair of tyres for my car.
Yeah.
So.
Fueling, obviously, pulling this much weight, even if you had the equivalent 530D with a similar engine setup, this is going to cost you a lot more in fuel. The UK government absolutely penalises people for bigger SUVs as well, so the running costs you have to take into account.
Yeah.
But if money's not an option, what would you go for?
If money wasn't an option, I think I'd definitely go for one of these.
I think you've gone smitten with this.
I'm sorry that I have fanboyed a little bit about it. I do apologise, but I do drive an estate BMW, so driving this, obviously being newer as well, and a lot more refined.
Yeah.
I just do want to point out, like I said, about cost. Being an automatic and a big heavy car, your brakes are probably going to need changing more often as well.
Yeah.
And you can feel the weight on the brakes. I don't think they're great.
No.
But
the brakes are huge as well. So again, it's not going to be cheap. But overall, I said, if money's on, I would still go for the estate just because I prefer the drive. You still get the storage, everything, the storage capacity and everything you need.
Yeah.
So, personal preference.
It's all down to what you think, yeah. Exactly.
What would you go for? That was the BMW X5 M50D.
Yeah, we just want to say, first of all, massive thanks to Nicola and Peter for letting us have this for the day, and also a big thanks to Matt OCD. They had this detailed for us yesterday, so fair play, what a job.
It does look incredible.
Yes.
So don't forget, if you've got not only a highly crazy modified car, if you've got an interesting vehicle, anything like this X5, then drop us a line. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We will see you in the next one.
Woo! Let's get on, Auto Trader.
I know.